The Nigerian Export Promotion Council was established in 1977 with the aim to promote development and diversification of Nigeria's export, trade, export-oriented industries and initiate the creation of appropriate export incentives. Well, the non-oil sector contributed 90.86% to the nation's GDP in Q1 of 2019. The NEPC has pledged to make non-oil export a significant contributor to Nigeria's GDP by facilitating exports to boost sustainable economic development. To this effect, with the African Growth and Opportunities Act, set to expire in 2025, the NEPC has collaborated with a lot of agencies and, of course, even lately the Nigerian American Chamber of Commerce to also boost non-oil exports and avail Nigerians opportunities under the Act, non-oil export trade between Nigeria and the United States and, of course, other countries, which presently stands at 2% with the partnership and different initiatives of the Council. Nigeria would increase the non-oil exports figures, with what we expect. Now, Nigeria export items such as kola nut, groundnut, palm oil, shea butter, cotton, rubber, ginger, garlic, and others. A lot of exports. Even lately, we heard of exporting of yam. To put this into perspective and make more sense of this, I have the regional coordinator, Southwest, of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, Mr. Babatunde Faleke. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
And happy Ramadan Kareem.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for taking out your time at this very time to join us on the show. It's really appreciated. Let's look at government's efforts trying to diversify this economy.
Right.
Your agency, where you represent, plays a very important role in achieving this goal.
Sure.
Tell us how it's been, the journey so far. How well are we doing?
Well, it's steady and growing. Like I used to tell you, it's not a day journey. Gold is sweet, beautiful to wear, but it passes through processes. The only thing that can sustain our economy is promotion of non-oil. And the only sure assurance for stability in the forex market is export. And we're doing a lot. And it has begun in a way, because a lot of investment has been put in petrochemicals now. You know about that. Almost $9 billion by Dangote. Some people are doing on cashew, some on cotton and yarn, boa. A lot of people are already investing, but it takes time to manifest. It's not just going to happen in a day. But the attention has been drawn, the campaign has been made, the advocacy is there in the community, the exporting community, that we need to do more. We need to scale up production and export. And not just export the right quality, the right quantity. And like I said, the advocacy is there. A lot is being done in rice now. So soya beans. I mean, we have already put a program in place that is encouraging every exporter to do the needful and scale up production. In cocoa, effort is being made. In cashew, people are growing more cashew because scaling up production is what we are campaigning.
I want to hold it on from that scaling up of production. Yes. That is where we all, and I know we've discussed this 1 or 2 times before now. When a Nigerian is asked to produce a shirt, he does 1 shirt, 2 shirts, beautiful. But when he's asked to make 1,000 pieces of that same shirt, then we start saying that there is, what do you think is responsible for this? When can we really scale up? How can we scale up? Well, scale up production.
Well, going back to the example you made, the shirt is that people like to be CEO of them. Nobody wants to, partner. So the industrialization of that is what we are talking about. And that's why we have what we call NEPC Human Capital Development Center, which you have visited several times. We are trying to institute a process that will encourage creation of hub, manufacturing process, garment construction, the way it should be done. In that section, we can produce shirt in 16 minutes. It's about efficiency. And we are working with a lot of people. We are working with Wesi Creation. We are working with Calabar Factory, Garment Factory, to scale up production. But we need the hub. Because to produce a shirt, it involves a lot of things. We are talking of the apparel, we're talking about the textile, we're talking about body. It's a multi-level playing. And a lot of things have to be done. The process is that people need to come together in cooperative and do things and create. There should be a very intervention program that we address such things. So individualistic is not what we need.
Okay.
Collaboration, synergy, symbolic integration is what we need.
Yeah.
We need serious relationship. We need cooperation among the operators.
I get that. Now let's move. Let's move forward. I've had instances. I've been, here at events, and people tell me about how exporters face challenges, documentation, moving of their goods, the challenges, and all of that. They are all there. You can keep outlining them. Now, what are you doing to check some of this, particularly issues around documentation? Lately, we had something around stamp duty. Nigerians need to be educated and understand how they can really go about this. I would also like to be an exporter if it's really, really conducive.
Yeah, I can assure you that the NEPC is doing a lot in terms of advocacy and their training and capacity building area of documentation. If you register with us for the first time as an exporter, we'll take you through what we call export clinic, so that you know what it is. We let you know the ABC of export, not just jump in there. We also take process to what we call Zero to Export program, mentorship program, that will let you know what stages, what processes that you need to embark on before you do exporting. On documentation, people that have a problem in documentation are likely to be new exporters, because if you are an exporter, you must know what needs to be done. And apart from that, the council has produced a brochure called Export Guide that will let you to know the ABC of what you need to do in exporting. So we do that a lot. And on AGOA Visa Stamp, yes, you were there when we recently organized sensitization workshop on the operation, the processes of AGOA Visa Stamp for textile. Because when you use the AGOA Visa Stamp, you are exporting to US duty-free. But it's a process. And you were there when we brought people from Ghana, Senegal, you said, to come and as resource person to really tell people what needs to be done and the processes it will take and what stages it will come and how you can prepare documentation, because the documentation is key. Under AGOA especially, if the documentation is not right, it cannot enter as AGOA products.
Let's dwell a little bit on AGOA. Yeah. It's something that interests me. Africa's Growth and Opportunities Act, that's what it means.
Yes.
And we have an extension till 2025
yes.
as it is now. We don't know if there's going to be any other extension.
Yeah.
Nigeria
Correct.
has to take advantage of this.
Correct.
But many people, we agree, some people don't even understand what it means. They're not even taking advantage of this. Let's talk more about AGOA and its benefits. More than 5,000 products.
It's over 6,000 products.
Over 6,000?
Yes.
And we are not taking advantage of it.
Well, it's not only Nigeria that's not taking advantage of it, because it's very technical, like I keep telling you. There are procedures. Again, we have logistic issues. For example, if you have a contract with a U.S. agency or importer, and you don't meet delivery time, you are likely to be blacklisted. And it's not ONEPC. We talk about our infrastructure, we talk about port issues. Those are issues that again, the cost of production is still very, very high, which makes our product to be very, very, not competitive. Very high. You talk about energy, you talk about cost of labor, you talk about cost of funds. All these aggregate together make our product very expensive. So if it's expensive, you cannot compete. Not that the product cannot compete. The product can compete. When it comes to pricing, which we are working on, telling people, okay, you also need not to pad your program, because some simplicity is what matters in the American market. You want to do a shirt now, it doesn't have to come with so many luxuries that make it expensive. You can do a straight jacket. You can do a uniform. You can do boxers. Those are straight things. You can do bed sheets. You can roll up towels. But again, where is the facility to do that? We don't have a hub for that. So that's why we are engaging state government on how to create a platform. State government are not encouraged to do business, but to create a conducive environment. And that's why we're talking about one state, one product. Can you take a product? And then the government has embraced that. There is a National Economic Council for that. Working on that. Make sure that states also play the role they need to play. It's not about federal government alone. It's about agencies working together and making this thing to work.
It's getting really interesting. Mr. Faleke, I want us to also look at the exports of yam. I tweeted before coming on air, and we've been getting response. People are talking about how they can, export yam, how they can. People want to get into some of this kind of this line of business, but some people got their fingers burnt when they exported the last time. Some rejections and all of that. What's really the way to go?
The way to go is to understand the market, like I told you. You see, when you want to say you want to export yam, it will be very absurd for you to just pick yam from everywhere and buy and say you are exporting. No, it must be purposely developed for that market. And again, the movement of logistics matters. When you need to use a refrigerated, container, you can't use hot container. Then the timing must be appropriate. So all this must be done. That's what that we narrowed down. I think the Ministry of Agriculture also has a committee on that works on that, telling people how to do it and do it rightly. Okay. So these are the agents. We're working with agencies. We don't work in isolation.
Okay, moving on now. We know that I can see this year there are a lot of projections for non-oil. Yeah. Government is looking at non-oil. We are looking away from oil because this crude oil, look at the trade war and all that is happening. What more are we going to expect from Nigerian Export Promotion Council as we move on?
Well, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, under the leadership of our CEO, Mr. Awolowo, we continue to do the needful. As for advocacy of recent ITC gave us an award. Among several TPOs, because we do mentorship. We encourage people, we take people to trade show. We've been going to Las Vegas for the last 5 years to showcase. This year we are going to do some food, participate in food exhibitions in US. We still continue to embrace the export community in terms of training, capacity building, B2B, mentorship, incentive, and a lot of things that we are going to be doing. And we also encourage them to produce rightly in the right quantity, in the right shape, and also ensuring that we are price competitive. But those are areas we cannot really play any part than advocacy. The cost of fund, if it's high, honestly, everybody will factor the cost of his fund. Exactly. If the energy is not working, you don't blame NEPC. But as for advocacy, as for product development, as for doing the needful to make sure that the right product is exported in the right way.
And make sure the media too is carried along in some of these affairs so that we
can you're always at our program doing advocacy. You're always there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babatunde Faleke, Regional Coordinator, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, spending your afternoon with us, putting all of this into perspective and making real sense of what some people don't really understand. I'm sure clarity would have been shared to some of all of these issues. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.